And we have also, I've also into the different other technologies like your OBIE, SQL, PLSQL, and extensively worked on data warehousing technologies so far in my career. So I'll be taking you through the Informatica Power Center part, a training for these 5 days, right? So I'm going to explain you each and every part. So we'll drive the training in very practical oriented way, right? So that I guess I can start with now, right? So in case if you have any questions in between, or you can stop me then and there, and you can ask your question so that we can, I can clear your question and then take it forward from there. So and regarding the hands-on part, like for initial time, like we'll be discussing about the basics about the data warehouse and all those things. And when we go to the hands-on part, so the Jagan and team will take care of the access to the individual machines, how to practice for you guys, right? So I'll be taking I'll drive the training from my machine, and when you want to practice, they'll help you out how to connect to that and how to actually do the hands-on labs on that machine, right? So in case if anybody has a question in between, so as I said, like you can stop me and ask about, whatever the questions that you have, right? Okay. So first, our training orientation will be discussing about the data warehouse. So what is a data warehouse? Why we are going for a data warehouse? What are the advantages of data warehouse? And we are also discussing about, we'll be also discussing about the OLTP system. What is OLTP system and what is OLAP system? And what is the role of Informatica? What is the role of ETL tools in the data warehouse? ETL tools in the data warehouse. We have so many ETL tools available in the market. So we are going to discuss about the role of ETL tools in the market. And similarly, the role of BI tools once you load the data. BI tools are nothing but your reporting tools. And then, the next part is about, we are going to discuss even about the data warehousing architecture, what is a data warehouse, and how you are going to load the data into data warehouse from the different OLTP systems, and different types of OLAP tools, different types of OLAP flavors available in the market. So we are going to discuss about this in the first chapter, and later in the day, like we are going to discuss about how to design the data warehouse. How to design the data warehouse is nothing but how you're going to design the data warehouse and how you're going to design the facts and dimension tables in the data warehouse, and how many types of dimensions are there and how many types of facts are available in the data warehouse, that we are going to discuss. And designing of the data warehouse will be done by the dimensional modeling technique. So you have a dimensional modeling technique, so which is nothing but the data modeling. We are going to do the dimension modeling technique by the different tools available, that is your Erwin different data modeling tools. So we are going to explain you how to design the star schema and how to design the snowflake schema. So this will be in the second chapter. Once we discuss about this, then we'll step into the Informatica Power Center 9.1. So Informatica, how to use Informatica and how to use Informatica Power Center, all those things we will drive in the third chapter. So first let's understand about the data warehouse, and then later on we'll go about Informatica Power Center 9.1, how to design it and how to load the data from different tables into the data warehouse, that we will see, and what are the technical aspects of Informatica Power Center 9.1, and how to understand the each and every transformation available in the Informatica Power Center 9.1, right? So all those things we are going to drive it from that place, right? So this is how we are going to drive the training. Okay. So the first thing is to understand about the data warehouse. So as you know, as you might be knowing that the data warehouse is not a technology. So as everybody thinks that the data warehouse is a theory proposed by the two scientists called Ralph Kimball and Billy Mon. So what they have said is the data warehouse is the collection of data from the different sources and which will be used for analysis purpose, and you're going to analyze the data to understand about your business, like how your business is doing, how your revenue is growing, how much profit you're actually attaining on a day-to-day basis or a quarter-to-quarter basis or a month-to-month basis. So you're going to drive all this. So the data warehouse is nothing but the database. Data warehouse is nothing but the database which will be used for an analysis purpose. So the data warehouse is nothing but the database. So whenever you're storing the data in the data warehouse is nothing but the place where you're storing the data in the form of tables. So you have so many databases available in the market. So when you're choosing the data warehouse, you can choose Oracle as your data warehouse, Oracle database as your data warehouse, or SQL Server as your data warehouse, or you can also choose Teradata as your data warehouse, and you can also choose the other databases which are available in the market such as Sybase, or you can also choose your MySQL, DB2, so many other databases are there. Among these, you can choose any one of them as a data warehouse. So practically what we can say in technical aspects, a data warehouse is nothing but the database where we store the data to analyze, where we store the data for a analyzing purpose, right? So, so that is called as a data warehouse. So in first, even before we understand about why we are going for a data warehouse, first we need to understand the system called as a OLTP system. So the OLTP is nothing but the online transaction processing system, where we are going to design the applications on a day-to-day purpose, on a day-to-day operations. For a day-to-day operations, we design the online transaction applications. So when you think about what kind of applications we can call it as a OLTP, so the practical examples for OLTP is that your ATM withdrawal. When you go and withdraw the money from ATM, that application is nothing but the OLTP application which supports the day-to-day operations. And also you can also think about the e-commerce applications, something like eBay, Amazon, and you have so many applications where you go and buy the products, and you book the orders, you cancel the orders. These applications are also called as your transaction-oriented applications. And you can also think about the other applications such as internet banking or your core banking solution, where you visit a bank, you deposit the money, you withdraw the check, you withdraw the money in the form of check. All these kind of a core banking operations will also be driven from the OLTP system. Which is nothing but the online transaction processing application. So when we talk about the online transaction processing application, why it is called as online transaction processing application? Because you'll be doing a lot of transactions. A transaction is nothing but the group of DML operations. You're going to insert the data, you're going to update the data, you're going to delete the data, and all these transactions you'll be doing it on a system. That's why it is called as a OLTP system. So this is your OLTP system. Practical examples are your ATM withdrawal, all those applications which will be coming up. So generally the OLAP system will be created from the different OLTP systems available. Let me give you a simple diagram. How you are going to extract the data from different OLTP systems, right? So now you have, let's say, think about the Citibank, which they have operations into different regions. So Citibank has operations into different regions, and they have designed different OLTP applications for different regions. Let's say you have one application which is developed for Singapore, and this application is created on the Oracle database. Assume that this application is created on the Oracle database. So Singapore core banking application is developed on the Oracle application, and you have one more application which is developed for India, and that they have developed using the mainframes. They have developed using the mainframes. And you have one more application which is developed for other countries, something like America, so which they have developed using the SAP. They have different OLTP systems, and you're going to integrate the data and build the data warehouse by using the different ETL tools, and you're going to integrate the data from different OLTP applications and then integrate the data, store the data into a centralized place called as a data warehouse, which is also a database. So you can think of this is the data warehouse. Assume that this is developed in a Teradata. So they have developed a data warehouse in the Teradata. So they have developed the Teradata in the Teradata data warehouse. So this is where to integrate the data, we are going to use the tools called as ETL tools. We are going to use the tools called as ETL tools. What kind of tools are available and why? So this here, if you have these applications which is developed for Singapore, India, America, all these applications are nothing but your OLTP applications. Why they have designed a different applications? You can think of, let's say you have to do a banking in Singapore, you have to follow some certain rules which are defined by the a bank which holds the operations. And if you have to do the operations in India, they have to abide by the rules what is being defined by the RBI. So when they go to America, they have to abide by the rules by the FBI or some bank, whichever is it. So that's why they'll develop the different applications. But when they have to do analysis, they cannot. If they have to do analysis or to calculate the profits, as a CEO of Citibank, he would like to understand how much global profits we have generated this year in 2013. First, what he has to do, he has to go to Singapore application and then find out how much Singapore Citibank branches have generated revenue, and the other India bank, how much it has generated by the America branches. So he has to go to every individual application and then find out the profit, and then based on that he has to find out the profits. So it will become very time-consuming process if you have to do analysis going into individual application and then do the analysis. That's why we are integrating entire data. Across the different applications, across the different heterogeneous applications, into a centralized place called as a data warehouse. So if the Citibank CEO has to do analysis, he needs not to go to each and every individual application. He can directly generate reports, or he can directly find out the profit directly from the data warehouse, which will reduce the amount of time to access the data. So the data warehouse is also called as a OLAP system. OLAP, which is nothing but the online analytical processing system, right? Online analytical processing system, which will be used for an analysis purpose. So once you load the data into the data warehouse, it is going to be analyzed. By your reporting tools. You have various BI tools available in the market, such as OBIE, Cognos, and business objects. All these reporting tools or the BI tools will read the data from your data warehouse and then generate the reports using that PO. And you have SSRS, you have MicroStrategy, all those BI tools will be used to generate the reports. ETL tools, different ETL tools which will be used to integrate the data. So now you can ask the question like why we are integrating entire data from OLTP application. Why can't we do the same analysis by reporting tools from the different OLTP system? Why can't we do that? Why we are going for a separate building of the data warehouse? Why we are building a separate data warehouse? Is that your OLTP systems have the disadvantages to do analysis. So the first thing is that you don't find the historical data in the OLTP system. Historical data is not available in OLTP system. So the practical example is that, so when we go to the ATM withdrawal and then take the mini statement. So when you take a mini statement, what will happen? You will have only what are the 10 transactions or 15 transactions done by you in the recent past or recent month. But you will not be able to access how much money I have withdrawn in the last year, how much money I have withdrawn in the last to last year, all those transactions. You will not be able to perform. You will not be able to identify the historical data available in the OLTP system. So for analysis, to do analysis, we'll always compare the results from the past. So the historical data is essential for analysis. So this is the first reason why we are not choosing OLTP system as a analysis. And moreover, the OLTP systems are normalized structures. Normalized structures in the sense where you have a data available in the more number of tables. OLTP will be normalized up to third normal form. OLTP will be normalized up to third normal form. When we say till third normal form, so the data which is available till the third normal form, so you'll have more number of tables. The more you normalize the data, number of tables will be more. So when you have more number of tables available in the OLTP system, right? So the amount of query, you have to use more number of joins in the query, So to do analysis with a more number of tables, it will become very complex. Analysis is nothing but the reading of the data and analyzing how we are achieving our goals, how we are doing the business, all those things. So the more number of tables, which implies to more number of joins in the SQL, which will be very complex to write the query. So that is one more reason why we are not choosing OLTP systems as analyzing databases. And one more thing is that, so since we have seen the same example, you have to access the data, then you have to go to different applications to access the data. So it will become very time-consuming process to analyze the data. So time lag in accessing the data. Since because of these three reasons, we are not choosing OLTP systems as the data warehouse. That's why we are going for a separate system. By spending so much money, we are building a separate system called as a OLAP system. OLAP is nothing but the online analytical processing system. This is the another name what we call analytical processing system. This is another name which we use it for a OLAP system, data warehouse, So when we talk about it, you're going to integrate the data from different OLTP systems and then load the data into OLAP. So this data will be analyzed, and by analyzing the data, they'll take some decisions. Whether to continue the product, whether to discontinue the product, whether to promote the product, all those things. That's why OLAP system is also called as a DSS, which is nothing but the decision support system. So to integrate the data, we are going to use the ETL tools. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. So you are going to extract the data from different applications, and before loading the data into the data warehouse, you are going to modify the data. In the sense, if it is in the normalized structure, you are going to convert into a denormalized structure and then store it. So that's why the data in the OLAP system is denormalized up to second normal form. Whereas this is normalized data, this is a denormalized data. So I'll show you what is the denormalized structure and what is the normalized structure when we go about it. So the extract, transform, and load. So we have so many ETL tools available in the market. Among all the things, Informatica Power Center is a major ETL tool which will widely used, and you have data stage. Which is from IBM Corporation. You have ab initio, which is from Ab Initio Corporation. You have OWB, ODI, Oracle Warehouse Builder or Oracle Data Integrator, which is from your Oracle Corporation. So you also have some open source tools. You also have some open source tools, which are nothing but your Jasper, Clever ETL, Talent. All these are all the open source ETL tools where without buying the license you can use them to do it. Clever ETL and then the Talent. Clever ETL and the Talent, all these things are the different ETL tools. So once the ETL tools loads the data into the data warehouse, you need to analyze the data. So analyzing can be done by the all these BI tools what we have seen here. Your Cognos and your BO, business objects, SSRS, MicroStrategy, all these things will be used to analyze the data. So what kind of analysis will be carried out on the data warehouse, that we will see. So this is about the OLTP system and OLAP system, and so we have a standard definitions for a data warehouse. We have a standard definition for a data warehouse when we are doing it. So let's understand what is the, yeah, somebody has a question here? Okay. Okay. So we have a standard definitions given by the scientist Rolf Kimball, who has actually proposed a data warehousing system. Rolf Kimball. So he has given a data warehouse as a standard definition, which we'll see now. So the data warehouse is called as a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, and non-volatile system. Time-variant and non-volatile system. Why we are calling as a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant system, a non-volatile system, and which will be used for a decision-making purpose. So let's understand why the data warehouse is called as this. So data warehouse, first thing is called, it is called as a subject-oriented system. Subject-oriented system. If you think about your OLTP applications, so let's say I have a table called as an employee. I have a table called as an employee. So this employee table will hold the data for all the departments. In the sense, this employee table will store the information about the marketing employees. This employee table will store the information about your sales employees, finance employees, all those things. In case of OLTP system, every employee information in your organization will be stored: sales, marketing, and financial. Every information about all the employees will be stored in a single table. That means you have only a similar table will be used to store the data about all the departments. So here in the data warehousing terms, I'll call a department as a subject area. I'll call the department as a subject area. So when it comes to the OLAP system or a data warehouse, when it comes to the OLAP system, so if you are designing a table, if you are designing a table called as an employee, or if you are designing a table called as a representative, so this will store the information about the sales related employees, and data in the data warehouse is categorized according to the subject area. So the number of tables which I am going to define to store the data for a sales subject area doesn't store the data for marketing subject area. Let's say if I'm defining for a sales subject area, if I'm defining 10 tables, these 10 tables will hold the information about the sales related data, but not about the marketing related data. And when I design the tables for financial subject area, let's say I've designed 15 tables to store the finance related data. These 15 tables will hold the information about only financial related data. It doesn't store the marketing related data or the sales related data. So what I'm trying to say here is the data in the data warehouse is categorized according to the subject area. According to the subject area. The tables we use to store sales will not be used for marketing. So the data is stored for a data is categorized according to the subject area. That's why the data warehouse system is called as a subject oriented system, categorized according to subject area. So that's why the data warehouse is called as a subject oriented system, And also the other term is called as integrated. other term is called as a integrated. So what is the meaning of integration? You are integrating the data from different applications. You are integrating the data from different applications. If you see the architecture here, you're integrating the data from Oracle database, you're integrating the data from mainframes database, you're integrating the data from SAP database directly into the Teradata system. You're integrating the data from multiple applications, and your ETL tools are also capable of extracting the data from flat files. In the sense, you can also extract the data from flat files, XML files, all those things. You will be using it to extract the data. So the flat files data also will be extracted and then loaded. So you're integrating the data from different sources, heterogeneous sources, diverse sources, and diverse formats of the data. So that's why the data warehouse is called as an integrated. You're integrating the data from multiple sources, and you're integrating the data from diverse sources, and you're integrating the data from diverse formats. That's why this data warehouse is called as an integrated system. This data warehouse is called as an integrated system. So the next thing is about a time variant system. We already understand that data warehouse stores the historical data. Your OLTP system does not have historical data, but the data warehouse will have the historical data. So historical data in the sense, it will have the information about the data for different years. You'll have a data for 2010, you'll have a data for 2011, you'll have a data for 2012 and 2013. You'll have the information about all the related to all the years data or all the months data. You can access the data from the data warehouse. That's why data warehouse is called as a time variant system, because you can access the data for any period of time. That's why it is called as a time variant system. How you're going to store the historical data in it, that we will see when we go to the Informatica. While loading the data, how we are going to maintain the historical data, we will see that. So the next thing is about the non-volatile system. What is the meaning of volatility? Volatility is something that which changes very frequently. Non-volatile means which doesn't changes very frequently. So the non-volatile system is the data warehouse. So once you are going to load the data into the data warehouse, you're not going to remove the data from it. That's why the data warehousing system is called as a non-volatile system. Data warehousing system is called as a non-volatile system. So this is the standard definition about the data warehouse. So, and the next thing is, yeah, so for any questions, so for whatever we have discussed from the...
So far no questions. It's clear.
Okay, thank you. So the next thing is about the different OLTP systems. So let's understand the definition about OLTP system. OLTP is an online transaction processing application where you modify the data very frequently with a large number of concurrent users. If you think about your internet banking will be accessed by so many users. I mean, let's say Citibank has 1 lakh customers. 1 lakh people will access the internet banking application to do the transactions. So similarly, the OLTP application, as we understand, that it is normalized up to 3rd normal form. Normalization is nothing but the process of dividing the data into multiple tables. Is called as a normalized structure. So you have different examples here. Retail sales. So when you go and visit a retail market, something like a Walmart or a Target or anything. So whatever the agents, whoever will be there, will be keep inputting the data. That application is nothing but your OLTP application. ATM transactions also. These are all called as a OLTP applications. On the OLAP applications, the data is aggregated and the historical data will be stored in the multi-dimensional schemas, and it is normalized with a few number of tables. It is denormalized with a few number of tables. What is difference between the OLTP and OLAP? OLTP, you'll have more number of tables. In case of OLAPs, you'll have a less number of tables because the data is in the denormalized structure. I'm going to show you what is the denormalized structure data and what is a normalized structure data. What is normalized structure data? So the OLAP will be used for a decision-making purpose, which will have characteristics about multi-dimensional analysis, which will be used by your analysis purpose, and it will be used by the top-level hierarchy in the business. So let's understand what are the differences between the OLTP system and the OLAP system. So the OLTP system is actually used for an operational purpose. If you see, this is used for a day-to-day operations, and OLAP system is used for informational processing. In the sense, this OLAP system will give you the information about your business, like how it is going to be used. So the next thing is the OLTP is a transaction-oriented application. Which means it will be used for a day-to-day operations, and the OLAP application, whatever you design, a separate data warehouse, it is going to be used for a analysis purpose. So when it comes to the usage, OLTP system will be used by your customers to the bank, in the sense, so if you want to do an internet banking, you are a customer to a Citibank, so you're going to do a internet banking transfer by using the application. So the customer will access, and when you go and deposit the money in the bank, so the application will be used by the bank clerks, and the database professionals. All those guys will use the OLTP system. But when it comes to the OLAP, it will be used by the knowledge workers, in the sense, this is used by your CEO, sales managers, branch managers. All these guys will use the OLAP application. For what reason they are going to use? In order to identify the profits, in order to identify the revenues, in order to identify the growth from year to the year. All those things will be used by your OLAP operations. So when it comes to the function-wise, we have day-to-day operations. So this OLTP systems, as we discussed, this is used for a day-to-day operations, and OLAP is used for a decision support, right? So the data which is available in the OLTP system is used for a most recent data will be available. In the sense, if you go and see in your, even in the internet banking system, when you go and see the transactions, what you performed, so you'll be able to retrieve only the data, what you have done, what are the transactions that you have done in the last month or something. But when you go to the OLAP system, you can find out the historical data which is available in the OLAP system. And the next thing is view. The OLTP system view is about the detailed level data, but when it comes to the OLAP, so you'll be aggregating the data. Aggregating the data is nothing but the calculating of total profits, total revenue, all those things. You'll aggregate the data before loading the data, or you'll summarize the data in the OLAP system. So when it comes to the OLTP design, it is application oriented or a day-to-day transaction oriented. But if you come to the OLAP system is completely about the subject oriented system. It is categorized according to the each subject area. So in the OLTP system, you're going to write, you're going to read the data, you're going to write the data, everything you'll do it. But in case of OLAP applications, you're going to only read the data from it. You're not going to, I mean, most of the times by using your BI tools, you're going to read the data, not from the, so no, you're not going to write the, I mean, do the any kind of writing from the BI tools. So if you see the OLTP application, information will be pouring into the system. So where the data will be keep coming into the system, and whereas OLAP system will have the information which will be going from, I mean, it will give you the information about your business. That's why the information will be out from your OLAP system, right? So when it comes to the OLTP, the number of records which are present in the OLTP system, the number of the number of records which are present in the OLTP system will be very less because it doesn't store the historical data. It doesn't store the historical data, so you'll have very less number of records present in the OLTP system, whereas your OLAP system stores the historical data, that's why you'll have millions and millions of records. So the number of, so if you have a more number of records, obviously it will require more amount of memory to store the data. So that is nothing but your terabytes of data. So it will occupy the terabytes of data, whereas your OLTP database sizes will be in the gigabytes, So when it comes to the number of users who accesses the data, so so this is OLTP systems will be accessed by the thousands and thousands of users, because if you think about the normal Citibank internet banking application, if they have 1 lakh users, 1 lakh users will use it. But OLAP application will be used by the less number of users, because a top level hierarchy in any business, when you talk about Citibank, so hardly you'll find 100 users who accesses the BI application only. So the priority wise, so it is a high performance, high availability, and OLAP system will be high flexibility. So how are you going to rate the performance of OLTP system? It is a transaction oriented, and OLAP system is about the query throughput. In the sense, you're going to measure the performance of OLAP application based upon the query performance, in the sense how much time it is taking for me to access the data. Whereas OLTP system performance will be driven by how much time it is taking for me to do a transaction. When I do a credit card transaction or when I do a transfer, how much time it is taking. That is the metric for OLTP system, and this is the metric for a OLAP system, query throughput. Right? So that is how the different OLTP systems and different, what are the differences between the OLTP system and the OLAP system what we have. So why we are actually going for a data warehouse? These are all the differences. So the next slide talks about the why we are going for a data warehouse. So why actually every company is actually building the data warehouse? First we have to understand. So the main thing is about, in order to understand about the business, so they need to do an analysis. So what if you analyze the data, what kind of advantage it is going to give you? So it will give you the information about your business, how you're doing, which product is not doing better, and this helps you to take the advantage of your competitors. Let's say the Citibank is there, and they have, think about in other terms, the telecom player. You have a Samsung and you have Apple. So if Samsung is marketing the products and Apple is marketing the products, so they have to identify which product is not doing better and which product is not liked by the customers. So if they understand that within a short period of time, they can discontinue that product, and then they can come up with a better product. They can come up with a better product which will take the advantage of the competitors. Means like they can virtually take the advantage of over Apple to market their products. They can market the products very easily, and if any of the products are not doing better, they can replace that products and then come up with a better product. So all these kind of intelligence reports can be generated by the data warehouse. That's why it's a main reason is in order to sustain the competitiveness in any business. So nowadays, if you think about any business, it's not a monopoly business. Everywhere you have a competition. Everywhere you need to take the steps very fast, even before your competitor takes the step. Let's say you have released one soap to the market, and if that soap is not doing better, your competitor will come up with a better product than that. Better soap than that, within a very short period of time. So in order to analyze, so this is the data warehouse is a continuous process. You keep analyzing the data, you keep finding some information about your business, and you'll be taking a decisions based upon the information that you're going to find out using the data warehouse, where it will directly reflects in your business, so that your revenues will improve, you can market the data very faster, you'll gain the more profits by analyzing the data. All these things will be can be found out from the data warehouse. So why DSS, or why we are not going with a OLTP system? That we have seen, like time lag in accessing the data. You have to do so much effort in accessing the data from OLTP, and you need to do a complex analysis, and you also don't have a tools which, I mean, unavailability of tools and techniques to gather the data from directly. So let's say if you have to do analysis from the OLTP system, you don't have technical tools which are available, which will extract the data from all the OLTP system and then represent the data into a single report. There is no available tools which will show the information from all the OLTP system into a single report. That's why first we are integrating and then showing in accessing the data using a single place, not from the multiple application. Let's say if I have to read the data into the report from the Oracle system, from the mainframe system, from the SAP system, I don't have a single tool where I can generate the report by accessing the data from all these three applications. So that's the reason we are going for a separate warehouse where we can generate the reports easily from the OLAP applications. So that's the reason we are going for a data warehouse. So the other thing is about what kind of analysis will be carried out. So far we were talking about, so the data warehouse is used for analysis, all these things. So what kind of questions will be answered by your data warehouse? So we have a different questions which will be answered by the data warehouse here. So let's say as a sales manager,